A man facing life in prison stemming from a road rage incident in April of 2016. Investigators say John Greenwald was driving along Jobean Road in Port Charlotte when he reportedly began yelling at another driver. Now, both Greenwald and the other driver then reportedly got out of the cars, and that's when detectives say Greenwald pulled out a metal bar and began beating the victim. According to reports, Greenwald is convicted of first-degree burglary with assault or battery.
Swatted across the face by a bear, but still smiling and grateful tonight. The guy who's got stitches all over his face from that encounter with the bear, talking to 4 in Your Corner, and wildlife officers are still looking for the bear. They want to put it down after that rare encounter at the guy's North Naples apartment complex. And he's telling Adam Pinsker what was going through his mind when that bear bared down on him.
You immediately have that fight or flight reaction, and I figured fighting wasn't the right one, so I tried to run, and it was quick. One paw came up before I realized what happened.
This is what happened to Andrew Meener, 41 stitches after a face-to-face encounter with the animal right behind his apartment. FWC officers have spent the last 2 days combing the grounds of the Emerton Townhomes community looking for the bear that attacked Andrew. Once trapped, it will be euthanized.
The bear's range is very large, and they've got a great homing sense. And so a lot of times we found that relocation is not an effective means because they simply will find their way back.
Despite several bear sightings in this community across the street from 2 schools, this is only the 15th bear attack since the early 70s in Florida and the first in Southwest Florida.
Funny enough, as I was at the doctor, the emergency room, the doctor said you should probably go out and buy a lottery ticket because the odds of this are even less than winning the lottery.
But it isn't luck that attracted bears to this community. Trash and trash bins left unsecured play a big role drawing the creatures in. So much so, Fish and Wildlife officials gave Andrew bear repellent and a noisemaker to thwart another attack.
And all those things are great. The situation I ran into, none of that would have helped. I mean, I wouldn't have had time to reach into my pocket or do anything.
Adam Pinsker, Fox 4 in your corner.
Officials say using a ratchet strap to tie down your trash bins might not be enough to keep the bears out of there. Fish and Wildlife now working with the complex to get some larger bear-proof dumpsters put in there.
A spike in flu cases in Southwest Florida could land you waiting a little bit longer in the ER. 4 in Your Corner speaking with people at the local hospital who tell us waiting rooms seem to be packed. Officials say it is best to treat symptoms of the flu when they first start so you can avoid a long ER wait.
If we can treat you within 3 days of the start of symptoms, we can get medication that's antiviral, which will help decrease their symptoms.
Now, for a full list of Lee Health walk-in clinics, if you don't want to head to the ER, maybe you go there first when you first see symptoms, you can head to our website. It's fox4now.com. A spokeswoman said, though, that similar to emergency rooms, those Lee Health clinics cannot guarantee how long the wait time will be. President Trump using vulgar language to describe nations like Haiti, El Salvador, and countries in Africa.
He referred to them as SHI, shall we have some afternoon tea hole countries in a discussion on immigration. But he's also making news tonight for another reason. He says he's open to discussing reforming our country's prison system. 4 in Your Corner's Kevin Cork explains.
2/3 of the 650,000 people released from prison each year are arrested again within 3 years.
For President Trump, it was a chance to work on an issue with bipartisan appeal.
We can help break this vicious cycle through job training, very important, job training, mentoring, and drug addiction treatment.
Today's White House Criminal Justice Reform Roundtable, part of an initiative that was spearheaded by the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, whose father served 14 months in prison for tax evasion, among other offenses. The gathering, designed to build upon bipartisan and faith-based efforts to reshape the way the country prepares ex-convicts for life on the outside.
We need to do more than simply remove people from society.
Kentucky's Governor Matt Bevin says the need for reform is acute.
The workforce in America demands this, is begging for this. There are millions of jobs that need to be filled.
While the U.S. federal prison population has decreased by almost 100,000 inmates since 2009, there's still nearly 1.5 million nationwide. Worse, the number of women behind bars is up over 4,000 since 2012. 1 in 4 of whom are pregnant or single parents when they enter the system.
You see what is happening to so many women in this country and single mothers who are trying to raise their family, most of whom are nonviolent offenders.
America is going to arrest more than 11 million people this year. That's about 21 people a minute. We invest more than $80 billion in this criminal justice just for incarceration.
And according to the American Civil Liberties Union, real criminal reform has to include a closer examination of the institutions that are responsible for what it calls America's mass incarceration problem. Well, today Congress reauthorized a surveillance program. It's called the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. This morning, the president tweeted that the act may have been used, he says, to look into his campaign by the Obama administration. 2 hours later, he tweeted that he fixed FISA, and the vote today is about, quote, foreign surveillance of foreign bad guys. The act allows the intelligence community to monitor foreign communication.
Time magazine choosing a very eye-catching way that features President Trump on its most recent cover. The illustration shows President Trump screaming with his yellow hair in flames in the air. The artist, Edel Rodriguez, says that Trump's flaming hair is in reference to the recent book about his administration and campaign called Fire and Fury Inside the White House. The artist also describing Trump's presidency as a wildfire that moves from one spot to another.
A new fire station coming to Cape Coral for the first time in a decade. A ceremonial groundbreaking for Fire Station 11 taking place today at the site of this new fire station. This is a big deal because it's the first fire station to be built in Cape Coral since March of 2008. The Cape Coral Fire Department was joined by city leaders, the Northwest Cape Homeowners Association, and a few others for this groundbreaking ceremony.
Is a well-known beauty company operation working off a shaky foundation of business practices? 4 in your corner looking into claims from a former employee who says Ulta's been reselling makeup. And wait till you hear what the company is saying about those claims tonight. You thought your dog loved you, huh? The dog's so determined to get back to its owner, she walked 20 miles for that reunion. Legos are supposed to come apart after you click them together, right? Right? So how's that going to work if you glue them together? You got to hear this little inventive guy's answer. All new next on Fox 4 News at 11.
A little boy gets himself into a bit of a sticky situation, but he actually ended up turning it into a business. The boy went into his room, he was playing with his Legos, and he thought, you know what, I'm going to use some glue to hold these suckers together. Not permanently. He thought it would be a good invention. Of course, they did stick together permanently, but the boy, along with his father, came up with a way to change this. It's called Le Glue, which is designed to easily dissolve in water if you do want to glue your Legos together. The two are even granted a U.S. patent, and it's being sold in U.S. stores.
He's got a fascinating diet, lifestyle habits to keep him playing in the NFL despite getting older. And now you can find out more about how Tom Brady does it thanks to Facebook. A documentary called Tom vs. Time. 6 episodes, and they will show Brady's journey and an inside look into his personal life. The series is going to be on Facebook. The release date has not been set. Does your dog love you this much? This dog named Kathleen in Oklahoma, walking more than 20 miles to get back to her family. Her owners moved away, couldn't take her. She was living in a temporary home, but she missed her family so much, she walked back to her hometown. She didn't find her family, but she's now in a shelter, ready to be adopted.
Move over, Bonnie and Clyde. There's a new couple making a splash. Their romantic gesture after leading police on a chase and getting busted. Is a popular beauty shop concealing a dirty secret? 4 in your corner.
Claim it!
I'm Michelle Lyles. Now let's play Fantasy 5. Tonight's winning Fantasy 5 numbers are 19, 27, 2, 28, and 13. Once again, tonight's Florida Fantasy 5 numbers are 19, 27, 2, 28, and 13.
Live from the station that's in your corner, news with Patrick Nolan, Amy Wegman, and weather with Chief Meteorologist Derek Beasley. You're watching Fox 4 News at 11.
Used makeup by somebody else. Would you put it on your face? One woman on social media sharing her concerns, claiming a major beauty chain she used to work for, Ulta, is selling used makeup. 4 in your corner's Michael Cadigan looking into the accusations and going straight to Ulta to find out if it's true.
When you buy lipstick like this at a beauty store, you expect that your lips are the only ones to touch it. But one former makeup consultant at Ulta Beauty, a popular beauty chain, sharing on social media her claims that the store she worked at was resealing returned items to resell.
Pretty much my whole face. Yeah, I buy skincare here too, so that's kind of gross to know.
Would have never suspected them doing that.
And I was always under the impression that they threw things away when you returned it.
Not according to this ex-Ulta employee who worked at the chain in the Midwest. She says if you brought something back, even if it was used, her manager wouldn't toss it, instead asking Ulta employees to clean out foundation with Q-tips or wipe down lip palettes like this with alcohol and make them look like new.
It's dangerous if you can get a staph infection or other infections. You get pink eye too, now that I think about it. Yeah, no, it's gross.
It's definitely leaves a bad taste in your mouth, you know? I mean, definitely not. I'm going to be a little more cautious when I buy stuff.
Other Ulta employees across the country sharing similar stories on social media, including one anonymous claim about used makeup being resold in Orlando.
Hey, I might be going to Sephora now, but eesh. I don't know.
4 in your corner wanted to know if this is happening at Southwest Florida locations. Ulta Beauty wouldn't answer that specifically, but did say, in part, we take seriously our responsibility to provide safe, high-quality products. The actions described are inconsistent with our practices, and while we investigate, we want to emphasize that we do not allow the resale of any opened or used items in our stores. Ulta customers hoping that's the case.
I think we kind of take companies at their word when they say things are getting thrown away. You hope that that's true.
Michael Cadigan, Fox 4 in your corner.
Michael's also been monitoring social media. He has not seen any specific complaints of anyone claiming that stores in Southwest Florida have repackaged products and tried to sell them that way.
A teenager killed in a hit and run last November, and now his father is pleading for witnesses to come forward. 13-year-old Shaden Colvin was riding his bike near Lakewood Boulevard and SD Ave in East Naples when he was hit by a car. Colvin died from his injuries the next day. Now, investigators were able to arrest a suspect in this case, but Shaden's father says he needs witnesses to come forward to help with the prosecution.
Obviously, they feel confident enough to prosecute them without the witnesses, but having them just is that one extra piece.
Well,